Hello, today I'm going to be giving you a gift guide for Christmas on books I would buy people in my life if I wanted to give them books for Christmas. And I'm going to tell you a book for like every type of reader. So hopefully I covered like every genre, every type of reader you could think of that you might need to buy a book for. I got you. First, I want to thank Analisa for sending me a couple pieces of jewelry. I love them. As you know, I talk about them a lot on my channel because they are literally the best. Analisa is a jewelry brand based out of New York that has so many good, beautiful pieces to really elevate your style. And they really focus on being non-harmful to the environment, being a sustainable brand, and having pieces that start out at around $40 and go up from there. And they just have such good quality, things that last forever, pieces that are unique and can be worn every single day. Going on brand with the theme of this video, I'm going to be gifting a couple pieces that they sent me to my family and friends, and be looking out because I will be doing a TikTok with that. I really love that Analisa is giving me the opportunity to gift these items to my family because look how gorgeous they are. Every single product is always so amazing. This pair is definitely one of my all-time favorite pieces. These earrings are so gorgeous, and I really want to keep them for myself, but I know a person, one of my friends, who would love these, and I have to give them to her. I'm trying to show off the gold bracelet, but this one is so gorgeous as well. They have a wide range from dainty pieces to bold pieces, and you can really just pick out whatever you like. And right now they do have a sale going on for Christmas, so if you get your orders in soon, you can definitely buy some stuff for your family and friends. Thank you so much, Analisa. I love you as always. And now let me show you the books that I would gift just like I would gift these jewelry pieces to people. First, we'll start off with some romance books that I would recommend to people if I was looking to give a romance reader a book. So the first one I would recommend gifting to somebody is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I would recommend this to a romance reader who likes clean, fun, easy romance, because in this one, it's about a pop star named Amelia, but her stage name is Ray Rose, and she ends up stranded in a town called Rome, Kentucky, and there she meets a person that owns a pie shop. His name is Noah, and that is literally what he does for a living. He lives in this small town and runs a pie shop bakery. They have two different lifestyles, but they just find something in each other and immediately click and navigate how could they have a relationship if they have two very different lives. One thing about Sarah Adams that I found, I've read 3 of her books now, and all of them are fade to black. So when it gets to the spicy scenes, they are fade to black, and it is good for people who don't necessarily like smut or anything like that in their books. So this is just a good, cute, easy romance. Kind of going along with that, we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I would gift this to a reader who wants to, one, try out a Book Talk recommended book. And this is one of the few Book Talk books that I found I did like. I feel like the main guy can be a little bit toxic, but not in a this is concerning type of way, in a okay, this is kind of fun type of way. And this is for the romance readers that want smut in their books. And if they have never tried an Anna Huang book, I think this would be a perfect time to gift it to them and they can try it out. A young adult fantasy that I have is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This book is everywhere. This is like the it book, one of the it girl books, I feel like, because I've just seen it so much everywhere and all of my friends are reading it. Like, it really is that book. It is so good. And I see the hype, I get it, I gave it 5 stars. If you want to give somebody an on-trend fantasy book, this is definitely the one to do it, because although this is I would say a romantasy, it definitely focuses on the relationship between 2 rival journalists who are constantly competing with each other, but when one of them has to go and be a journalist for the war that is going on amongst gods, and that's where the fantasy aspect comes into play, the other one follows, and they are connected through letters. So the way that these characters interact is between letters, and if that is just a trope you like the writing letters aspect, the anonymous writer, the way that you write out feelings instead of having to talk to someone and say it to their face, like, I just love that. I just think it worked so well in this book, and if somebody has been wanting to read this, I think it would be a really good book to pick up for them and give them for Christmas, especially because book 2, I think it's called what is it called? Ruthless Vows. That one is coming out in December on the 26th, right after Christmas. So if you buy this one for Christmas, they can read it, and then they will already have book 2 out, and it'll complete the duology. I do have one thriller. Who is she? Who has kidnapped Andrew Reeds and replaced her with an alien? Because I never read thrillers, but I will say I really did like this one. It is A Killer's Wife by Victor Mythos, and I read this for a book club. I didn't pick it out, but I was like, let me give it a chance, and it had really high ratings on Goodreads, and it turned out to be a really good book. In this book, we follow Jessica, whose ex-husband was a serial killer. He went on a rampage of very brutal killings and different kinds of crimes, and now he's locked up. And she is a prosecutor for an attorney, and that's her literal job. And so she gets assigned to a case that is resembling her ex-husband's murders from the past. And it's kind of unearthing all of these feelings that she had. She has to talk to him while he's locked up in prison, and it's just a lot to try to figure out who this new killer is. And I just thought it was very invigorating the entire time I was reading, and it was actually a thriller that I didn't mind, and it had a lot of twists, and it was pretty easy. It's not that long, so if you know anybody that loves thrillers or true crime, this would be perfect. For a fiction reader, I would suggest getting them Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. This one was such a good, just contemporary book that had such an interesting narrator. Like, I've never read a book with such a strong narrator mind, and like most of the book I would say is in this character's inner monologue, but we kind of go through this character like going crazy. Like, they are not completely sane, they are guilt-ridden, they are paranoid, and just going through the motions of this character's mind is really interesting. In this book, we follow Juniper, who is a writer, and Athena, who is an Asian writer. So Juniper is a white woman, and when Athena dies, there is a manuscript left that Juniper takes and basically steals, plagiarizes, whatever, Athena's work. The book tackles a lot of important themes, especially like plagiarism in publishing, the profit-driven aspect of publishing, and who they publish and who gets to tell what stories and all that, and like, is it okay for white people to tell other races' stories? The criticism that the book got written by a white author, if it was written by a person of color author, would it have still had the same criticism? Like, I felt like this book just brought up a lot of questions and a lot of things to ponder about publishing, and I think that's exactly what R.F. Kuang set out to do, and it was just brilliant. R.F. Kuang is so smart, she's so talented, and I think this book was just exquisite and a masterpiece. And there's definitely not any books out there that are like this. So it's very unique, and I feel like everybody should read it if they're interested in a fiction book. I've talked about this book before, but for anybody looking for nonfiction, this is like one of the very few nonfiction books I have to recommend because I don't read nonfiction a lot. But The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, it's such a good collection of essays that I feel like everybody really needs to read it. Like, I love it so much. John Green is, again, like R.F. Kuang, John Green is very smart, he is intelligent, and he writes like he is, and it comes across on page that way. So this is a collection of essays that he wrote on literally different kinds of things, but he rates every topic on a 5-star scale. This copy is signed, and I know if you go to like Barnes & Noble, he signed all of the original first editions, but you might still be able to snag some at Barnes & Noble, so you could also give somebody a signed copy, which I think would be really special. Okay, and I have 2 more, but one I would recommend, which is just a tried and true book that I feel like is still underrated and not a lot of people have read it, but I see people asking for it a lot on Book Talk and in the book community. But it is a good enemies to lovers, and people want this trope where they're actually trying to kill each other and you don't know if they're even gonna actually like each other. And I would just say We Hunt the Flame by House of Five Zol does not deserve to like go into the graveyard of books. Like, it deserves to still be being talked about and being bought and purchased. And I think if you know a fantasy reader, this is definitely a book I think fantasy readers need to branch out to and read, because I just see the same people recommending the same things on Book Talk, recommending ACOTAR and Sarah J Maas and just the same old things. And I'm like, get something else. Grow your taste, expand what you read, pick something else, and talk about some other authors for a change that are underrepresented and should be talked about way more in the book space. And I could go on and on about that, but this is one of those books that I love so much, and I feel like everybody should literally read it. Like, this should be talked about just as much as people talk about ACOTAR every single day when I get on TikTok. So yeah, buy this for somebody who asks for enemies to lovers or asks for a fantasy book, because it is so, so good. And finally, I included a book that I would recommend to a reader that wants to cry. If somebody's like, give me a book that's gonna break me, give me a book that's gonna cause me pain and give me heartbreak, I would say If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. And the good thing about this one is the second book is coming out in February. I already have it pre-ordered. I got the Barnes & Noble special edition. This book is so incredibly sad, and you know it is. It's like a train wreck where you're seeing it, you know it's gonna happen, but you cannot look away. And it's also written really well. Like, I like the writing, I like the content of the book, I like the story, I like the characters, I love everything about this book. We follow Autumn and Finn, who were best friends as children, and they grow up right next door to each other in their houses, and they're just so close for so long. But then an incident happens where they grow apart, and so we follow them for 4 years throughout high school as they navigate high school without each other, but they're always in each other's presence because they live right next door to each other and their parents are best friends. And so it's like they cannot get away from each other, and it's like in the back of their minds they don't want to, but they are so separate and they have their own lives, and it's just literally heart crushing. And the book that's coming out in February is from Finn's perspective, because this one is all Autumn's perspective and the other one is going to be Finn. I literally cannot. Y'all don't understand how unwell I'm going to be. It's not good. Like, I already know what to expect because it's this exact book, but in Finn's perspective. So it's this exact book from another point of view. And it's just, I feel like it's gonna be even more sad, like, for sure. The pining that's gonna go on, okay, it's not about that book, it's about this one. So if somebody wants a young adult sad book or a romance book, because this is also romance, you could give this to them. But if they don't want something sad, don't give it to them. But if they do, this is the one for them. Okay, the sun is going down. It's really hot in here. It's time for me to just go and read my book that I'm reading right now. So once again, thank you to Analisa for sending me pieces of jewelry. I will be gifting those to my family and friends. I cannot wait. But also, let me know down below what book I didn't talk about that you would recommend gifting to somebody. And all my social media is linked down below, some ways to help support the channel. All that is down below as always. And don't forget to check out my discount code for Analisa. That's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!